Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we will be seeing the school dropouts in rural areas. First, we will see a brief introduction about school dropouts in rural area. Then, we will see the different reasons for school dropouts and the methods to prevent the school dropouts. School dropouts is defined as the failure of the students in completing the current stage of education he or she enrolled for several reasons. School dropouts is also defined as leaving the current step of education without graduating or completing the ongoing educational program by the student who currently continues his or her education. We know that the education is the most important for human development. With education, employment opportunities are broadened and income level are increased. The development of an individual and the progress of a nation depend on education. In this video, we will try to understand the differential and factor associated with school dropouts in rural area. According to National Family Health Survey 3, it was found that only 75% of the children in the age group 6 to 16 were attending schools. About 14% of the children never attended the schools, and 11% dropped out of schools for various reasons. It was observed that the dropout was high among children belonging to rural areas. We know that parental characteristics plays a significant role in determining school education. So, the dropout among the children belonging to illiterate parents are higher than literate parents. If parents are not working, the possibilities of dropouts among their children are relatively high. Like this, we will see more factor reasons for school dropouts in rural areas. The first reason for school dropouts in rural areas is poverty, accessibility, and availability. Poverty, accessibility, and availability are the major reason for school dropouts in India. For example, most of the government schools in the coastal areas are being used as relief camps during monsoon season. Some people have been living in these camps. Government has not made any arrangement to settle these people. Therefore, there is no place for the student to study. In some of the schools, students from grade 1 to 7 have just a single classroom, and all the other classrooms are occupied by the people. In other parts of the country, the schools are too far. This leads the dropouts of girls and the primary school children. There are no sufficient transport facilities available in the country, and it causes lack to accessibility. Thus, all these three aspects affect the education of the students and which leads to dropping out of the schools. The second reason is the school and teachers. The schools are toxic to student learning. Students are suspended for minor infractions such as talking back to the teacher or placed in remedial classes. For example, Saji was an above average student from socially and economically poor family. His father was working for daily wages. While he was studying in 8th class, he misbehaved with one of the teachers. He was suspended from the schools, and thereafter he never went to school. Many of the schools lack adequate guidance counseling. The curriculum is not relevant to the needs of the student being taught. Passive instructional strategies are being used without regard to individual student learning style. Teachers are not trained in the latest learning technology techniques. The least experienced, least classroom trained teachers are often assigned to the most difficult schools. The next one is lack of interest. It is usually found that every class of student has some of those pupils who refuse to show any attention to the subject being taught. Their lack of interest is caused by their lack of attention in whatever is being taught. It is not that such students do not try. They do try as and when they are forced to and pressurized to. It is then what that this student prefer going to the other way. Next one is excessive academic pressure from schools and parents. Many students leave the schools because of the inability to deal with the academic pressure and de- debilitating anxiety. Many parents have high expectations about their children. They never consider the abilities and interests of children. Children are forced to join the course where they have no interest and they never complete the course and most of the time becomes a failure. Next one is frequent change of schools. Some students adopt themselves pretty easily irrespective of number of schools they change. Some students who are not able to cope up even with single change of school. Not everyone is able to fit in different atmosphere. Frequent changes causes adjustment problem to leads to disinterest. Next one is bullying. The fear of being judged and laughed at holds them back from coming in the light. They start making excuses from going to school. It is here that parents need step and take full action. The next one is constant failure. Some students fail repeatedly, be it in last or semester exams. The constant failure causes the lack of self-confidence in them as and when the failure persists, the lack of self-confidence vanishes. In its space emerges a feeling of being least bothered which is more fatal as compared to the former. Once the person starts to feel disinterest in the consequences anymore, then she or he goes for what they feel is best. The next one is supporting family. It is unfortunate that students have to give up their education in the face of economic reasons. The inability to pay the school fee can be one such reason. Several demanding situations can surface where adolescent children of the family are asked or looked upon as a helping hand to the family. The next one is delinquency. This is a harsh truth of life. The big bad bird out there is several things to offer undoubtedly. Children in their teens as school students are not well aware of the various facets of the world. They get fascinated by the fancy things that life seems to offer. But every shortcut taken to acquire all those fanciful things is a step away toward delinquency. The next one is education not considered necessary. Many people feel that what to do after studies. They have to do the same job their parents have been doing. Therefore, these children leave the schools during the primary school itself. Neither parents nor children consider education as a need. In their own words, क्या करना है पढ़ाई करके वैसे काम ही करना है. The next one is wrong decision made by the student themselves. They make wrong decision. They get involved with gangs, drugs, alcohol, get pregnant, and commit crimes. Many have a poor school attitude and are frequently bored by school. They are disconnected to their families, schools, and life. They do not see the reason they need to go to school. They are involved in school activities, lack self esteem. The next is the family background of the student. There is often a clash between the family values and those of the school. Frequently, their parents have dropped out of school themselves. The students come from families from low socio-economic backgrounds where there are many other children. Older children often have to go to work in order to supply the family with much needed funds for basic family needs for needs to stay home to take care of younger siblings so that their parents can work. The next one is community they belong. Many children live on the wrong side of the tracks in places where education is not valued, where drugs, gangs, and violence abound, and where children are low performing. They often lack community and health support. The other reasons are did not get admission, not safe to send girls to school, no proper school facilities for girls, no female teachers in the schools. Child marriage in pregnancy leads to school dropouts in rural areas. Physical and other medical problems. Physical and other medical problem. Poverty, poor school environment. Now we will see the different methods for prevention of the school dropouts. The first one is systematic approach. This strategy calls for a systematic approaches and process for ongoing and continuous improvement across all grade levels and among all stakeholders through a shared and widely communicated vision and focus, tightly focused goals and objective, selection of target research based strategies in inventions, ongoing monitoring and feedback and database decision making. The second one is school community collaboration. This method focuses on the power of an engaged and responsive community where everyone in the community is accountable for the quality of education, resulting in caring and collaborative environment where youth can thrive and achieve. The next one is self-learning environment. Safe, orderly, nurturing, inclusive, and inviting learning environment help students realize potential as individuals and as engaged members of society. All students need to safe, physical and emotionally to expected to achieve, to be recognized and celebrated equitably and accomplishment and to feel genuinely welcome and supported. The next one is family engagement. The family research consistently finds that family engagement has a direct positive effect on youth achievement, is one of the most accurate predictor of student success in schools. The next one is early childhood education. Birth to 5 interventions demonstrate that providing a child additional enrichment and enhance brain development the most effective way to reduce the number of children who will ultimately drop out is to provide the best possible classroom instruction from the beginning of schools through the primary grades. The next one is early literacy development. Early literacy interventions to help low achieving students improve their reading and writing skills, establish the necessary foundation for effective learning in all subjects. Literacy development focus should continue up to 12. The seventh one is monitoring and tutoring. Mentoring is typically one-to-one caring supportive relationship between a mentor and a mentee that is based on trust. Mentoring offers a significant support structure for high-risk students. Tutoring, also typically a one-to-one activity, focuses on academic support, is an effective practice when addressing specific needs in collaboration with the student-based teacher. The next one is service learning. Service learning connects meaningful community service experiences with academic learning. This teaching learning method promotes personal and social growth, career development, and civic responsibility and can be a powerful vehicle for effective school reform at all grade levels. The next one is alternative schooling. Alternative or non-traditional schooling and delivery model options can be provide alternative avenues to credit learning and graduation with programs paying special attention to the student individuals and social needs career goals, and academic requirements for obtaining a high school diploma and transitioning successfully to life beyond graduation. The next one is after school, out of school opportunity. Many schools provide after school, before school, and or summer academic enhancement, enrichment opportunities that provide students with opportunity for assistance and recovery as well as high interest options for discovery and learning. These opportunities often decrease information loss and can inspire interest in arenas otherwise inaccessible. Such experiences are especially important for at-risk students because out of school gap time is filled with constructive and engaging activities and or needed academic supports. Next one is professional development. Adults who work with youth at risk of dropping out need to be provided ongoing professional learning opportunities, support and feedback. The professional learning should align with the agreed upon vision and focuses for the school agency. The agreed upon instructional framework for high leverage research based on practice, strategies and identified needs of the population out. The next one is active learning. Active learning and student engagement strategies engage and involve students in meaningful ways as partners in their own learning. These strategies include student voice and choice, effective feedback, peer assessment and goal setting, cooperative learning, thinking critically, creatively and reflectively, and micro teaching, discussion and two-way communication. The next one is educational technology. Instructional technology can effectively support teaching and learning while engaging students in meaningful, current and authentic efforts, addressing multiple intelligence and adapting to student learning styles. The 14th one is individualized instruction. Individualized instruction can help in learning experiences, individualized, differentiated, or personalized in content or theme to fit the interest, preference, and prior experience of each. In an environment that is fully personalized, the learning objective and content as well as the method and pace may all vary. The last one is career and technical education. Quality career and technical education program and related career pathways and guidance program with up to 12 level orientation are essential for all students. Youth need workplace skill as well as awareness and focus to increase not only the likelihood that they will be prepared for their careers but also that school will be relevant to what is next. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you like this video. If you like this video, then subscribe and share. Thank you.